2024 meeting of the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Mr. Jett, would you please call the roll?
Absolutely. Director Eady?
Here.
Director Lee?
Here.
Chairman Barclay?
Here.
Director Ortiz?
Here.
Director Jha?
Yes. 2024 meeting of the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Mr. Jett, would you please call the roll?
Director Lee, you do have a quorum. I will note for the record that Director Recajo has not made it yet, but we are anticipating that he will arrive.
Great, thank you. Our next order of business is the approval of the committee minutes of November 13th, 2024. May I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Jha, that the minutes from November 13th, 2024 be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Jha?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes.
Our next order of business is the finance report. Tom McCone.
Morning, directors.
Morning.
Morning. Give me 30 seconds to share the presentation. Okay, great. I'm going to walk you through the October results and the year-to-date results through October as well. We're going to start with system-generated revenues. On the revenues side of things, good results here. So positive to budget on both fares and passes for the month. That's driven primarily by stronger ridership than anticipated in October. You can see we're ahead of both the budget and also where we were last year in October. On the non-fare box side, positive results are driven by interest investments and interest income. So those positive results are leading to an improvement in non-fare box revenue versus the budget and also versus last year. Overall system generated revenue, 1.7 million positive to budget for the month and 2.5 million better than we were last October. Overall, that means year to date, we see similar patterns. We've seen a little bit more strength out of the full fare pay per use in October, but overall fare and pass totals up 5.7 million for the year versus budget, and then 21.6 million better than we were last year. So overall system generated revenue, 26.1 million better than where we were at this point last year, and then 10 million better than budget. Switching over to the expenses side of things, you'll see that we do still carry a positive variance on the labor side, but that variance has come down as we've achieved our hiring goals and brought more folks on. So that labor variance diminished here in October. Materials is negative to budget. You'll remember the last couple of months we've had positive variances. October, we kind of caught up with that. So we use those additional materials, kind of taking care of some of those positive variances that we knew timing wise would end up hitting us later in the year. Fuel, lower prices, slightly lower usage there, leading to a positive variance. Fuel, power coming in pretty much at budget. Security services on track with where we're forecasting it to finish for the year, which is going to be negative to budget. Other expenses is going to finish positive to budget, so more than balancing out that negative variance in the security services. Same story pretty much year to date. You will see that that material variance does go away when we look at it year to date. So October was negative, just bringing that material variance down closer to budget. Security services, again, where we're forecasting it to finish. So continuing on that path. Total operating expenses, 93 million positive to budget for the year. So we add in the public funding side of things, look at the sales tax and the real estate transfer tax. Better results than anticipated here in October. Sales tax was better than anticipated. Real estate transfer tax actually was under budget, but performed a little bit better than it has been in previous months. So overall, that brought to positive variance on public funding. And then year to date, sort of diminishing that negative variance that we've had so far year to date. So only 2.3 million negative on the public funding side year to date versus the $808 million total public funding. So what that means for our federal relief funding draws, so we take revenues and expenses. The difference there was 25.5 million. That was our draw for the month of October, leaving $725 million remaining in that funding to close that deficit as it persists this year and through next year as well. On the commodities side of things, we do have an update here on the power side. You'll see here that we did a fixed forward purchase for 2025. So that's a new bullet point this month. I am happy to report that we got about $10 less per megawatt hour than we had budgeted. So came in $10 positive on that. That should result versus budget in a couple $1 million in savings if everything plays out the way we anticipated to. So good results there on the power side when we fixed in power for next year. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Really encouraged by the numbers that, ridership's up. Glad they colder, it'll stay the case, but no questions on my end.
Thank you.
We'll take questions from other members of the board. Director Eady?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Ortiz?
No question.
Director Ja?
Thank you.
Director Lee, there are no further questions. You may proceed to agenda item number 4.
Agenda item 4 is the review of an ordinance authorizing a grant of a permanent non-exclusive easement to Dick Keefe Development Corporation for property located between Maple Avenue and Isabella Street, adjacent to the property line in Wilmette, Illinois. So moved.
Morning, Bill Mooney, your Chief Infrastructure Officer. Real Estate recommends of an ordinance to authorize an easement agreement for CTA-owned vacant real estate adjacent to the Purple Line right-of-way between Maple Avenue and Isabella in Wilmette, Illinois to Dick Keefe Development Corp. The board previously deemed a portion of the property as surplus per ordinance 088-176. Bid from Dick Keefe Development Corporation for the purchase of said parcel was accepted per ordinance 089016 from, and the board authorized a grant of permanent and non-exclusive easement for additional portion via 089141. However, the grant of easement was never finalized and the developer's project was not completed. Developer recently contacted CTA and wishes to finalize the grant of easement and adjust its interest to approximately 20,090 square feet. The easement has been appraised for $300,000 and due to its unique configuration and location, the easement premises likely is not a value anymore. The developer will be responsible for all costs associated with implementing the easement. I'll be happy to take any questions on this item.
Thanks. No questions on my end.
Director Ja? Director Ortiz? Chairman Barclay?
No questions.
Director Eady?
No question.
Director Lee, there are no further questions. You may now proceed to agenda item number 5. I'm sorry. Director Lee, there are no further questions.
May I now have leave to place this item on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja? Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Lee, we may now proceed to agenda item number 5.
Agenda item 5 is the review of an ordinance authorizing payment of relocation expenses arising from the acquisition property located at 11810 South Calumet Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, for the Red Line Extension Project. Bill?
Staff recommends approval of an ordinance authorizing the payment of relocation expenses arising from the acquisition of property located at 11810 South Calumet. Board has previously designated multiple properties, including the property, for acquisition and authorized negotiations for purchase of the parcels under Ordinance 022-118. CTA is in the process of acquiring the parcel and pursuant to the Uniform Relocation Act has confirmed relocation expenses owed to Maxey Granite Design LLC, which was located at the property, in an amount of $116,200. Pursuant to the ordinance number 022-118, the Chief Infrastructure Officer, with the approval of the General Counsel, has been authorized to pay relocation expenses up to $100,000 to any owner or tenant of a designated parcel without prior board approval. But board approval is required for expenses in excess of $100,000. I'll be happy to take any questions on this item.
Can you explain why it's over the 100,000?
So there's a formula that the Uniform Relocation Act requires for this. The $100,000 limit was just a threshold for board approval. We did not do estimates for every parcel. We had some broad estimates for them, but until you actually can get in and see what material needs to be located and the actualized cost to relocate that, you don't know what that realized value is. And in most cases, as we are significantly done with this part of the project. You've seen very few of these, but there are some businesses like this granite company that have specialized equipment and lots of material on site, and that tends to be a higher relocation value.
Thanks. No further questions.
Director Eady,
No question.
Chairman Barclay,
No question.
Director Ortiz, Director Ja, Director Lee, there are no further questions.
May I now have leave to place this item on the omnibus for board approval?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja,
Yes.
Director Ortiz,
Yes.
Chairman Barclay,
Yes.
Director Lee,
Yes.
Director Eady.
Yes.
The motion passes. You may now proceed to agenda item number 6, Director Lee.
Thank you. Agenda item 6 is a review of an ordinance authorizing a memorandum of understanding with DePaul University Dry House College of Business for 2 pilot programs to support the Chicago Transit Authority's Disadvantaged Bus Enterprise Program and the Red Line Transit Supportive Development in Juan Pablo.
Good morning, Directors. Juan Pablo Prieto, Director of Diversity Programs. Staff recommends entering into a memorandum of understanding, or MOU, with DePaul University Dry House College of Business for 2 business development programs that will help benefit the DBE firms and the Red Line Extension footprint. As the board knows, the CTA is a national leader in contract and supplier diversity, and we take our commitments to the DBE program very seriously. We go beyond our regulatory obligation of setting an overall goal, contract goals, and monitoring contracts. The CTA does its best to provide small businesses with the tools to succeed and grow, including our small business educational series and building small businesses program. Additionally, capital investment in the CTA goes beyond providing better service and extends into areas in which those investments are made. Both recommended pilots continue those commitments. For the first pilot, the CTA, through the BSB program, will identify 5 to 7 participants that need business administration or management assistance to grow. DePaul will match them with undergraduate students who, under the supervision of faculty, will provide guidance to the business. Our goal is to create stronger small businesses that can compete for and grow from CTA work. For the second pilot, a team of 4 to 5 graduate students will begin to create a plan on how to revitalize South Michigan Avenue as part of the Red Line Extension project, building off of the Transit Supportive Development Plan that CTA commissioned. The MOU has a term of 18 months to allow CTA and DePaul to evaluate after 1 year to decide whether to continue the pilots or create permanent programs. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I think this is a great pilot, 2 pilots. Wondering if we're considering working with other colleges and universities in the area?
Yes, this is to test out if this model works, and then we would want to expand.
Lots of students in the area. So
Yes.
no further questions.
Thank you.
Director Eady, any questions?
Yes, very, very excited to see this in place to benefit small businesses. And I guess my question is, how is this being publicized, marketed?
Sure.
How are people becoming to be aware of it?
So we'll make it part of our Building Small Businesses program, which has quarterly orientation sessions. As the businesses come into those, they get one-on-one with the team that administers that program. And if that's something that they highlight as a need, whether it's business administration, business management, they'll funnel them into this pilot program.
Okay, and I saw that your number of participants was 5 to 7. Why that number?
Sure.
In my mind, why so few? Why not more?
So being a pilot, we want to test the model and make sure that, you know, the commitments from both CTA side to be able to provide businesses,
Okay,
and then from DePaul to be able to take on, you know, X amount of businesses is there. So we decided to start with 5 to 7, test the model, see how it goes, get feedback from the students, from the faculty, and from businesses to see if we can grow the program.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Barclay.
What's the time?
So we want to start right at the top of the year. DePaul starts pretty early in January. So we're going to meet with the team at DePaul, the faculty, so that they can get a better understanding of our DV program. And then in January, we'd like to recommend some businesses that have already been part of the Building Small Businesses program so that we can start collaborating with the students.
Director Ortiz. Director Ja? Director Lee, there are no further questions.
May I now have leave to place this item on the omnibus for board approval?
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Director Ja? Motion passes. Director Lee, a request has been made that we defer agenda item number 7. We would need a motion to do so.
Is there a motion to defer?
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that agenda item number 7 be deferred. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Ja? The motion passes. We may now proceed to agenda item number 8.
Thank you. Agenda item 8 is the review of an ordinance authorizing the purchase of underground storage tank insurance for policy year January 28, 2025 through January 28, 2026. Sisavon?
Good morning, directors. Sisavon Baker, Deputy General Counsel in the CTA's Law Department. We are coming before the board for renewal of insurance policy that covers the CTA's underground storage tanks. This policy is renewed annually. The CTA has 45 underground storage tanks in multiple locations around the system that provides over 970,000 gallons of diesel fuel per month for the CTA's bus fleet. The CTA UST's underground storage tanks were installed between 1992 and 2020, and they are regulated by the Office of the State Fire Marshal, which establishes financial requirements for entities that own these storage tanks. The storage tanks are excluded from our CTA's property insurance policy, as they are for most property insurance policies, so that the CTA has secured this standalone policy since 2022 in order to insure against the cost of leaks or spills and to meet the fire marshal's regulations for financial accountability. Our insurance broker, Alliant, and its Paradigm secured 2 underground storage tank insurance quotes for CTA's business. Incumbent carrier provided the most favorable combination of premiums and deductibles. So we are recommending purchasing the Ironshore/Liberty Surplus insurance policy for an amount not to exceed $35,000 for the policy year of January 28, 2025 through January 28, 2026. Coverage limits are $1 million per underground storage tank incident and $2 million policy aggregate, and coverage includes payments for third-party bodily injury, property damage, legal defense costs related to cover, and remediation costs to address any kinds of leaks. I am happy to answer questions.
Thank you. No questions on my end. Thank you.
Director Eady?
No questions.
Chairman Barclay?
No question.
Director Ortiz?
No questions.
Director Ja? Director Lee, there are no questions.
May I now have leave to place this item on the omnibus for board approval?
Yes, so moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that this item be placed on the omnibus for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Ja? The motion passes. Director Lee? A request has been made to defer agenda items number 9 through 12. We would need a motion and a roll call vote to that effect.
Sure. Is there a motion to defer?
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that agenda items number 9 through 12 be deferred. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Ja? Motion passes.
The next order of business today is the review of a contract number A1, contract awards for transit operations.
Are there any questions?
Questions on mine?
Director Lee, you may proceed to contracts B1 through B4.
Our next order of business today is the review of contract numbers B1 through B4, contract awards for infrastructure.
Are there any questions on contracts number B1 through B4?
None on mine.
Director Lee, you may now proceed to contract C1.
Our next order of business today is the review of contract number C1, contract award for finance.
Are there any questions? Director Ja, Director Ortiz, Chairman Barclay, Director Eady? Director Lee, you may now proceed to contract G1.
Our next order of business today is the review of contract number F1.
We skipped F1.
I'm sorry, F1, you're right.
Contract award for administration.
Are there any questions on contract F1?
None on my end.
Director Lee, you may now proceed to contract G1.
Our next order of business today is the review of contract number G1, contract award for technology. No questions on my end.
Are there any questions from any other members of the board? Director Lee, you may now proceed to contract I1.
Our next order of business today is the review of contract number I1, contract award for equity and engagement. No questions on my end.
Are there questions from any other members of the board?
Questions?
Director Lee, you may now proceed to agenda item 13A.
Since there are no further questions on the contracts, may I have a leave to place the 9 contracts on the omnibus?
Do we have a motion to?
Don't move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the 9 contracts be placed on the omnibus. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Lee, you may now proceed to agenda item number 13B.
Since there's no further business to come before the committee, may I have a motion to approve the omnibus and recommend the omnibus for board approval?
Don't move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the omnibus be recommended for board approval. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Director Ja?
Yes.
The motion passes. Director Lee, you may now proceed to agenda item number 14.
Finally, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Don't move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the Finance Audit and Budget Committee meeting for December 11th, 2024 be adjourned. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Ja?
Yes.
The motion passes.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Chicago Transit Board for December 11, 2024. Georgette, please call the roll.
Director Ja?
Here.
Director Ortiz?
Here.
Chairman Barclay?
Here.
Director Lee?
Here.
Director Edie?
Here.
Director Rekejo?
I'd like to call to order
We'll note for
the
the record
meeting of
that
the
Director
Chicago
Rekejo
Transit
is
Board for
absent.
December.
Director Jakes? We'll note for the record that Director Jakes is also absent. Chairman Barclay, you do have a quorum.
Our next order of business is the approval of the minutes, the regular board meeting of November 13, 2024. May I have a motion to approve?
Don't move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Edie, seconded by Director Ja, that the minutes from November 13th, 2024 be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Edie?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Ja? The motion passes.
Our next item of business on the agenda will be the Citizens Advisory Board report, which will be given by Katanya Raby, who is the chair of the CTA's Citizens Advisory.
Chairman Barclay, Chairperson Raby for the CAB has not yet checked in. I would ask that we defer her report.
Our next order of business is public comments. Georgette.
Chairman Barclay, we do have 3 public comments today. We have Ms. Patricia Fuentes with us, Mr. Nick Hunter, and Mr. Philip Scopes. I would ask Ms. Patricia Fuentes to come forward. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is,
I would like to advise you that you have 3 minutes and you can begin now.
good morning. My name is Patricia Puente. I was on the line where the bus 54 on Cermak and Cicero. Buses do not, the 54 bus, a lot of people told me that they complain that 2 buses always pass together. But meanwhile, they're waiting for an hour, half an hour for the bus to arrive. And when the bus arrives, 2 to 3 buses pass together. There's students there, elderlies, and it's getting cold. Why do 3 buses pass together? I just don't understand. Don't they have a timing or something? And that's it. That's the only thing. Thank you. If you could, Route 54. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I have my operations people talk to Ms. Fuentes and follow up
Yeah.
a particular issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hyro, the head of bus ops will talk to her.
Okay. Our next public comment is from Philip Scopes.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays to you.
Good morning, members of the board, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. The matter I am bringing before you today concerns a safety measure for train platforms I have recently discovered that I feel would really be essential for protecting riders of the CTA L trains. I have recently discovered videos showing train platforms in Japan. There is a fence at the edge of the platform which may have safety doors that coincide with the locations of the doors of a train stopped at the platform. These doors remain closed or a solid fence is at platform level when there is no train at the platform, and the doors are only opened automatically or the fence rises above the train while it is stopped at the station for passengers to enter and exit. I believe that the implementation of safety doors on L platforms is essential because of incidents I have heard about that have put riders at risk for or actually caused injury or even death. People may slip and fall off the edge of a platform due to misstepping or ice or snow on the ground. The visually impaired are especially in danger of misstepping and falling over the edge. I have heard of people being pushed off the edge of a platform. Also, my father once found a woman sitting with her legs over the edge of a train platform and pulled her back to safety putting himself in danger of falling off the platform to prevent her from being crushed by an oncoming train. For these reasons, I urge the board to consider implementation of safety doors on L platforms to make them safer for riders of the trains. For your reference, I invite you to search Japan train safety doors on YouTube to see for yourselves how the safety doors look and operate alongside the train tracks when a train approaches a station. I've also discovered that although the solution is not as prevalent in North America as on other continents, I am aware of safety door implementations in a pilot program in a limited number of subway stops in New York City, as well as the elevated train system in Honolulu, which I wanted to mention for your reference. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Our last public comment for today is Mr. Nick Hunter. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a process question first. So on the website for the public comment process, it says you can fill out a short form to speak at a board or committee meeting. Yesterday I attempted to sign up for both a board comment and a full board committee and full board comment. I was advised that I'm only allowed to speak here. It seems clear on your website under your posted rules that I would be able to do both.
I can address that. Our posted rules say that our speakers for both the comments, for both the committees and the board are at the full board meeting.
Okay, we'll go with that for today.
Thank you.
Also, the live stream is not running. If somebody wants to check on that. Anyways.
Mr. Hunter, can you hold on for 1 second? Technology, is the live stream working with YouTube? She's nodding. I saw.
Okay, that's just maybe then. Ready when you are.
You can proceed.
All right, great. So I actually want to add on to what the first public commenter said. So today I want to discuss two things, bus bunching and FOIA. First, bus bunching. So there is data on the performance dashboard that shows bus bunching hovers around about 4%, which is when 2 or more buses are 1 to 60 seconds apart. And I found that that's a pretty narrow definition considering services is supposed to be evenly spaced. So there are many factors out of CTA's control, and those are mainly traffic levels and poor infrastructure. But the most important variable, consistent dispatching, is in CTA's control. So I explored a data set of when buses were released from their terminals, not when they are mid-route, by bus managers on 6 lines across the city, using a definition where if the bus was dispatched earlier than half of its scheduled headway, the 4 was bunched at 20% of the time, the 22 at 17%, and the 146 also 20%. The first bus, when 2 are paired, was not considered bunched, so it would be very hard to achieve over 50% bunching. So if it's easier to quantify it over a 100% denominator, these numbers are 40%, 34%, and 40%, which shows there's a serious issue to be addressed with how bus managers are approaching headway maintenance. I spoke briefly about government citizen cooperation at the budget hearing, and this board discussed it a little bit last month, but this is what the public can and wants to do for you. I didn't compile this data as some sort of like hit piece against you guys. I did it and brought it here because I want you to address it, especially because it is completely in your control to do so. I am far from the only one who would gladly help you perform data analysis to identify areas for improvement. This relationship where data makes its way to the media and then the press office comes out and says, well, this is not what we think it is, and then writes off the news article is not helpful. This happens almost every holiday weekend. I would literally sign an NDA to not disclose any of the data findings that we explored just so we could provide that feedback to you, because it doesn't seem like there's the capacity to do such analysis yourselves. But for now, we have to do it via FOIA, which should be a fairly easy process, but somehow it's almost been rendered useless at this agency.
Mr. Hunter, I would just remind you that you may not mention FOIA.
I edited for that. Thanks to a level of noncompliance with state law I did not previously believe was possible to get away with, but this agency has proven that wrong. To quantify how non-compliant your FOIA department is.
Mr. Hunter.
Yeah, it's not.
You can't mention, but you can't mention FOIA.
You didn't say that explicitly. You said.
I said it explicitly.
You said I could carve out that.
It says
section.
that if you have litigation that is ongoing with the agency.
And I'm not commenting on that.
May not mention that matter, which in this instance is FOIA.
Okay.
Now said the word FOIA 3 times.
Okay. Well, I'm going to cut the rest of that. How much time do I have left?
You
The answer.
3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay.
I'll give you 20 seconds.
All right, then real quickly, so I don't have time to mention this, but I was hoping to speak with somebody about, you plan to repay bonds with federal formula funds for the red line extension and stuff. I have a concern that might affect you 10 years from now. And I think I'd like to, tackle that now rather than have a surprise for that when you go to repay those bonds.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hunter, we also welcome in writing as it relates to the revenue bonds, the last piece that you spoke about. If you want to send us something, some communication in writing, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, there are no further public comments.
Thank you. Our next item of the agenda is our president's report given by President Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, good morning. Today, as we come to the close of the year, I'd like to take an opportunity to go through a review of 2024 and also sort of a preview of 2025. I think it's safe to say that there have been a lot of achievements that have occurred over the course of the year that have been certainly of the hardworking men and women of this agency, from our frontline staff to our. This year, CTA was intensely focused on achieving our most important goal, which was to return to pre-pandemic bus and rail service levels, something that I have consistently promised we would achieve by year's end. Reaching our goal of improved service frequency, a level of service that our customers deserve and can depend on, means more trains and buses serving riders more often, which has been the final challenge for CTA. We work diligently to move past the lingering system impacts of a global COVID-19 health emergency. Our service improvements have been made possible by the continued focus on growing our workforce, providing the training necessary to hire and promote employees into essential positions, notably bus and rail operators. This summer, CTA's bus operator staffing returned to pre-pandemic levels, which has improved service frequency as well as its reliability. And by the end of this year, we will have trained more than 200 new rail operators. Our newly trained rail operators have been the key staffing milestone that has made it possible for us to return our rail service to 2019 levels. I would also point out, if you follow the news reports from the media and look at places like the school bus drivers for the Chicago public school system, there are still many companies that are facing tremendous challenges in terms of hiring and recruiting people to fill these type of key positions. I also would like to acknowledge CTA's customers' concern for continued steady return to transit and the ridership gains that we've employed over the past year. In 2024, CTA riders logged 86 days of 1 million or more rides system-wide. That is up from 27 1 million plus ride days in 2023. On 78 days, CTA bus customers took more than 600,000 rides, which is up from only 4 days of a similar daily bus ridership last year. And on the rail side, August 1st marked the first time that our rail ridership exceeded 500,000 daily rides since the start of the pandemic. In August, CTA celebrated an historic Red Line Extension Project milestone when the project construction contract was awarded to Walsh Vinci Transit Community Partners to design and build a 5.6-mile extension of the Red Line. As you know, this equity-focused initiative is the largest capital construction project in CTA's history. It will have long-lasting economic benefits that will be generated for the far south side through small business and career opportunities with RLE and CTA, as well as new economic development in the project area that will benefit the entire city of Chicago. And I'm pleased to report to you that we are on target to sign the grant, the federal grant for that project early in January. I also want to again highlight the performance and dedication shown by CTA employees as they successfully supported the Democratic National Convention in August. For months preceding the convention, CTA staff met with local and national officials to ensure that we were prepared to welcome delegates and accommodate their needs. During the DNC, staff operated buses on newly planned routes, delivered rail service for special events, maintained our fleet and infrastructure, and coordinated resources for safety and security. We also showcased our system through new marketing, visuals, and CTA volunteers. CTA employees did a great job, and I could not be prouder of them. Also in August, CTA opened the $80 million Damon Green Line station, which was constructed in partnership between the Chicago Department of Transportation and CTA. Our new stunning multimodal station filled a 1.5-mile service gap between the Green Line's Ashland and California stops. The opening of the Damon Green Line stop restored service at that location for the first time since the original Damon station was closed in 1948. Last July, we also launched our new Bus Vision project, which will help us to reimagine our bus network, determine what improvements we should implement in the future, and ensure that we are providing the best, most equitable bus service possible for our customers. The project also includes a framing report, which provides an extensive analysis of our existing bus system and offers key considerations for the future. The study is the first time that there has ever been a holistic look at CTA's bus system, and for anyone who has not yet done so, I encourage you to read and consider this visionary report. In March, CTA launched our new Innovation Studio, which is CTA's vehicle for partnering with private sector companies, firms, and organizations to conceive, develop, and test solutions for challenges in vital areas. The Innovation Studio examines and pursues solutions for the improvement of rail system, safety, the development of new solutions for bus stop asset management, and the expansion of real-time information for our bus customers. These are among the most important issues facing CTA, and we are always looking for ways to improve and streamline the process of finding solutions to the questions that they present. Finally, CTA is always concerned with issues of transit equity, and we've been a national leader in ensuring fairness, a more level playing field in terms of construction contract awards and job opportunities. Over the past year, CTA has made contract awards of nearly $84 million certified disadvantaged business enterprise companies and firms, while small business enterprises have received more than $10.1 million in set-aside contracts. In addition, workers from economically disadvantaged areas have earned more than $7 million in wages through CTA's construction projects. I would also like to take a brief moment to provide you with a brief look towards 2025. In the coming year, CTA will surpass 2024 levels of service. We will achieve this goal by improving service frequency on key bus routes and rail routes all day, every day, including weekends. In addition, we will work to identify opportunities to invest in late-night owl service, which we know is most critical for those who are most transit dependent in our community. We will work closely with Chicago Departments of Planning and other agencies to ensure the available sites near the Red Line Extension Project and elsewhere are developed to serve as a catalyst for community building and economic development. We will open 6 new accessible stations, including Orange, Berwyn, Bryn Mawr, and Argyle, which are part of the Red Purple Modernization Phase 1 project, Racine, which is part of the Forest Park Branch rebuild, and the Austin Station on the Green Line. And finally, early next year, CTA Metro and Pace will launch the Regional Day Pass, or what we call the RDP. The RDP will offer customers cost-effective, convenient, and unlimited travel access across all 3 systems during the day, further improving the customer experience and paving the way for better regional fare integration. I believe that our agency has a great deal to be proud of as a result of the work that we've done over the past year, and I'm very excited about CTA's future, which offers us new opportunities to better serve those who take public transit. We've worked very hard in pursuit of the progress that we've made, and I want to once again thank our staff and our customers for being a part of our 2024 comeback. Finally, I want to take a moment to recognize something that I think is indicative of how our employees perform and the commitments that they make to the communities that we serve. This is truly a heartwarming story that's of unusual generosity. That's a kind and charitable act that was done by one of our employees. This is a very unique commendation for us, primarily because I was informed that this employee very specifically did not want to be recognized by name, and I will honor that request. Still, I think it's appropriate to share his story with you because it is a representation of both the character and many unheralded kindnesses, acts of kindness that our employees so often show to our customers. Earlier this month, a CTA bus operator encountered a Walter Payton College Prep high school student aboard his bus who was not wearing a coat or a hat. This happened on a day with below freezing temperatures, and the operator was concerned for the child's well-being. The operator asked the young man why he did not have on a winter-appropriate clothing, and the child's response was that he did not own a coat. At the end of his shift, the operator purchased a new coat, hat, and gloves for this young man, and then returned to the school to deliver the clothing. In a letter that was sent to me, the school principal wrote that the young man is between homes and facing significant life challenges. Despite these impediments and the inclement weather Chicago has faced in recent weeks, the student remained determined to get his education. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not at liberty to share this employee's name, but given his generosity of spirit, it is unsurprising that he preferred that his name remain private. So instead of a personal accommodation, I want to take this opportunity to thank him and any CTA employee who operates with a similar generosity of spirit, including those who go out of their way to show small, mostly unrecognized kindness to our customers, those who support their fellow coworkers through tough times and unexpected life challenges, and in the spirit of the holidays, those who find a way to serve their communities before and after full shifts of ensuring that CTA customers are able to enjoy quality public transit service every day. CTA's family of employees, as you can imagine, are a very special group of people. And I want to send my thanks to this bus operator for going the extra mile, showing a level of care and compassion for a young man in need that truly embodies the Christmas spirit. I'm going to close with this shameless but seasonally appropriate plug for everyone to be sure to get out and enjoy the experience of the All-State Holiday Seat Bus, CTA bus and train as they deliver holiday cheer around the city. I should also point out, as a part of that effort, our employees also do a day where they pass out Thanksgiving or Christmas dinners to those in need that are basically paid for by the contributions of CTA employees, which is an annual activity that we engage in every year as part of our giving back to the community. Many of you have heard me say on more than one occasion that CTA is more than just moving people from point A to point B, that we are a part of the community that we serve, and we work very hard to improve and enhance that community. Some of that is done through the service we delivered. Some of that is done through the kindness and acts of our employees on a daily basis, most of which we don't hear about or even are aware of on any particular point in time. But it is an embodiment of the spirit and mission and culture of this organization to engage in these activities, and I couldn't be more proud of them as well as all the other men and women of this organization. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my remarks, and I will end my comments by saying, as always, that we have been very appreciative of the support of the board in carrying out our activities over the course of this year, and certainly look forward to working with all of you as we continue to improve CTA in the year to come. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, President Carter, for your update. As we come to the end of the year, which is also a time of reflection, gratitude, and celebration, I want to commend you and your entire team for the effort and dedication shown throughout this year. It's not lost on me or anyone on this board that our agency has faced challenges this year. The tragic loss of 4 of our riders in a horrific shooting, Blue Line, and persistent challenges with public safety in our system. Working towards solutions to address critical funding needs in 2026. Working on service frequency and reliability. But it's also been a year of growth, resilience, and significant progress. Record hiring numbers, expanded bus service, increased ridership numbers, successful service delivery during the DNC, all of the progress with the Red Line Extension Program as well. I want to be clear that by recognizing our progress in these areas, I'm not ignoring or denying the challenges we face. Still, we can and should be able to celebrate the progress while being realistic about our challenges and continue the work to address them. While it's true that there is a lot more work to be done, I would be remiss not to highlight the team's hard work and dedication that have led to achievements this year and the improvements we're seeing. They are a testament to the focused efforts of everyone involved, from the leadership to our frontline employees as well. As we move forward to a new year, our focus on safety, reliability, and transparency will continue to guide our efforts. And I'm optimistic about the positive impact this will have on our service and the citizens we serve. Finally, Mr. President, I want to also echo the holiday train program and bus program. I had the opportunity to take the maiden voyage this year again, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a wonderful experience. And our employees volunteered to do that work. It's just a tremendous experience. I would encourage my fellow board members to get on board and to enjoy what our employees have worked really, really hard to do. It's just a small testament of their efforts again. So thank you. I know we've got a lot of work to do. There are a lot of things that, CTA we're lacking at this point, but I'm very pleased that we're moving in the right direction. We don't hear terms like ghost trains. And a year ago, that was the echo and that was the thing. We haven't heard that in a long time, ghost bus. So we're moving in the right direction. Ridership is up, and we've got a lot of work to do, but I'm pleased and I want to celebrate what we've achieved this year. Thank you very much. I'll open it up to any other board members who may want to make comments.
Well, I'd just like to take this opportunity as one of the newest members of the board. It's been very exciting and impressive to come to be better acquainted internally with all of the activity, actions, initiatives that have gone in to this year's efforts. I was even saying when we were in one of the briefings just the other day of how I have come now to be very clear on how things are trending in a very positive direction. And I can attribute that to leadership. And I just want to commend you for the work that you're doing. As has already been stated as well, there are other things that have to be done. We know there's other challenges, but I want to commend you for the leadership that you've already displayed and all of what you have put in motion. And the future looks very bright. Thank you, sir.
Other comments or questions from the board?
I feel I should join my fellow beginner board member in acknowledging how eliminating have been these 6 months of my tenure, 6+ months of my tenure in the board. I want to start where the president ended by acknowledging the amount of work and my personal thanks to the people who work outside of this building every day in driving buses and operating trains in garages, in a lot of places that most people don't even know exist, to make sure that people can go to their works, to their date, to their church, to their personal needs. And the amount of work that goes in that job and the circumstances around that job, in particularly the ones that we have been talking the most about, which is a safety situation that is going on for them, is something that was one of my priorities during this day. And I appreciate, again, all the work that people outside of this building are doing every day. the people inside of this building have been extremely responsive to my questions, my asks, my, all kinds of requests that I have made to get to understand better what the systemic roots, of the problems that we have could be and how to best support. So I'm also thankful to all of you here today. I acknowledge that I've seen an improvement, and I've seen it personally too in the frequency of trains in particular, and also buses. I do also want to remind folks we're still very much challenged by our service levels and the quality of what we provide not being up to what we think we should be by yet. And that delta, I think, we can bridge in 2025 if we all work together, not only in what we do, but also in how we do it. And again, a reminder that there is a lot of folks out there that want to help from a good place, from a place of generosity. Partnerships will be needed, collaboration will be needed, showing up as an open, transparent organization will be welcome. And I just wanted to also to close by mentioning 3 things I'm excited about and that I have made myself available to support. And I know many of my board members and colleagues in the field are also ready to support CTA all the way. One is the strategic plan that is starting right now, our first strategic plan in CTA history. Really important document that will guide decades from here on. So that's one thing. The other piece that I'm really excited about is the promise to increase frequency to 10-minute headways or less in several bus routes, and 20, I think, bus routes, and in all trains. That would be huge if we were able to deliver on that promise, and we have to deliver on that promise. There's a plug here also to invite our colleagues and friends from CDOT and from IDOT, and congrats to the new secretary in IDOT, Yabiadi, a great colleague, because without them, we cannot deliver on the frequency part of the buses in particular. So that's second thing. And the third thing is the work that all of us collectively are going to have to do and accomplish together in Springfield to make sure that we not only fill the gap, because the gap is only taking us to where we were. But we need more than that, because where we were is not sufficient. And I think we can all agree on that. So that's the third piece of the plan for 2025 I'm excited about. I want to again thank everybody in CTA that is providing the service on a daily basis, and those who work here in the headquarters for your support during this year. And you can count on me to help you succeed in 2025.
I can go next. I second all the comments that have been shared. The system is huge. We're the 3rd largest city, and obviously our connections both in the city and to our suburban areas are huge and no small task at hand. So I appreciate the opportunity of everyone working together, all the staff people, all the dedication that I've seen throughout the year. And so I really do appreciate that. All of these efforts, I've seen them. We don't always call out every kind deed, but I've seen them, and I really do appreciate and value the kindness of everyone who is contributing to this system, contributing to this work. Not just for CTA, but for our city as a whole and our region. I've been really excited about our work in equity. So continue to really support that piece of our work as a whole. Our strategic plan, obviously, and safety, I think it's going to be really important. And just overall, thank you to everyone for all the great work. It's been a hard year, but I think every year brings its own challenges and its own opportunities. And I think we're definitely trying to make the most out of every opportunity that we have. Challenging times are ahead, so I recognize the opportunity to make sure that we have the right funding and that we have just the opportunity to maximize resources as we move along. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah, I second. I don't think we need to get into the details. Thank you again. Happy holidays. I think we recognize all the hard work that goes in but there's more to be done. And I think starting with the strategic plan and roadmap, get 2035 going.
Looking forward to more collaboration in the new year. Very excited about accessibility coming up. Looking forward to more trains that I can ride. But really just reflecting that the CTA makes Chicago great. Like, this is why I live in Chicago, and this is why a lot of people live here. So we have a lot of work to do, but we can't get the greatness that we are. So thank you, everyone. Thanks to the leadership and also everyone who's out there on the front lines.
Thank you. I will just note for the record that Director Roberto Requejo has joined the meeting.
Thank you, Georgette. Did you want to go back to the item we deferred with Ms. Raby?
I would like to go to that item after executive session, if it's okay with Chairman Barclay.
That's fine. And thanks again, President Carter. Next item on the agenda is number 6, is executive session. Kent Ray, it's my understanding that we have an executive session today.
Yes, Chairman, we will go into closed session today pursuant to the Illinois Open Meetings Act, sections 2C, 11, and 21.
I will now entertain a motion to recess into executive session for reasons stated by counsel.
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded by Director Eady and Director Ja that the CTA Transit Board will move into executive session. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Director Ja?
Yes.
Motion passes.
To return to open session.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the board return to open session. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Director Ja? The motion passes.
We will now address board agenda item 6A. Kent?
In item 6A, the board reviewed the closed session meeting minutes for October 9th, 2024, Chairman.
And please have a motion to approve the closed session minutes for October 9th, 2024.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the board approve the closed session minutes from October 9th, 2024. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Ja?
Yes.
Director Requejo?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Director Eady?
Yes.
The motion passes.
We will now address board agenda items 6B. Kent?
In item 6B, the board reviewed a proposed settlement in the case of Victoria Hamill versus Chicago Transit Authority and Crayon Flowers, pending in the Circuit Court of Cook County, case number 2020 L002246.
I will now entertain a motion to approve the settlement award negotiated by council in the matter of Victoria Hamill versus Chicago Transit Authority and Crayon Flowers in the Circuit Court of Cook County, case number 2020 L002246, in the amount of $4 million.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the board approve the settlement award negotiated by council in the matter of Victoria Hamill versus the Chicago Transit Authority and Crayon Flowers. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Requejo? Director Ja? The motion passes. Chairman Barclay, Chairperson Raby from the Citizens Advisory Board has arrived. We would like to entertain her report at this time.
Thank you. Great.
Chairperson.
Everyone, thank you for allowing me to speak. I apologize for my tardiness. So good morning. My name is Katanya Raby, and I am the chairperson of the Citizens Advisory Board. I'm happy to be here to report on the activities of the Citizen Advisory Board for the fourth quarter. Last week, on December 6th, we met and we engaged in the challenge of charting our course for 2025. We've been serving since June 2023. And we want to make sure that we are being of service to the CTA and to our constituents. And so we have had the opportunity to receive many presentations from a variety of folks of leadership here at the CTA on quite a few great topics, actually. We had CTA chiefs and vice presidents to speak with us about items such as the Bus Visions Project, the Red Line Extension Project, wayfaring and signage updates, the launch of the CTA chat box, and safety and security. And of course, the proposed budgets for 2024 and 2025. And these presentations have been incredibly essential so that we could be better informed as we move forward as a citizen advisory board. But we also feel compelled to make sure that we are in concert with our communities and the organizations that we all represent. So we are looking to really shore up the mission of the CAB. So that is one thing that we began to do last week. We started to put together what our mission statement is and get a better understanding of why we are this group of people and how will we better serve the the CTA and our constituents. So we discussed our current community engagement activities and any activities that CTA may have coming up and how we can participate in those. And then how we can also better connect with you all and see how we can be of advisement to you or better in better communication with you all. So we will be, in order to better address these issues, we will be meeting more frequently. Right now, for the 2023 and 2024, we have been meeting quarterly. So we've agreed that we would meet monthly so that we can have more time to work together, have some more fruitful conversations that we can funnel up to you all and be in better concert with the work that you all are doing. So starting in January, we'll be meeting monthly. Our terms are up in, I think at the end of June. So we're wanting to make sure that we're being as intentional as we can in this time that we have left as the current CAB. And we're also working to focus on some subject matters that we felt were that resonated with us most as a board. So we'll be taking time in these upcoming sessions to really dig into those topic areas. And then our hope is to present a report for you all at the end of our tenure, so that this report will be informative to you and also to the next group of folks coming in, the new CAB that will be installed this summer. So those are some of the things that we have been focused on, and we're really excited to really take what we've learned over the last year and some change so that we can be as, show up as best as we can as a CAB and create some opportunities for working together and building together with you all and the leadership here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from board members?
We appreciate the commitment to obviously quarterly meetings. A lot of things happen in between that. So we appreciate the willingness and the interest to be even more proactive and active in this role. Look forward also to the report or any briefings or drafts of that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all and happy holidays and happy new year.
Can I just add a few words too? Because first of all, appreciation for the service that you, Catania, and the group has provided to CTA and to this board. I love the idea of this report, this summary of recommendations, whatever you want to structure at the end of the tenure of the current advisory board. I would love it if the report could include not only recommendations for CTA and for areas of interest, but also, in case it's not part of it, about the structure and the resources available to the committee itself. Because I am aware that this is a volunteer position, that you are all citizens, and we're asking citizens to show up, volunteer their time, and put a lot of effort, time, etc. And I'm not entirely sure if that system works or you all need something else or any recommendations again to modify the process and the structure itself would be really helpful to a great extent, because next year, as I mentioned before, is a big year for CTA, and there's going to be a lot of initiatives going on that are going to require a very active and engaged citizen advisory board. If we're asking for resources to Springfield, if we're deploying new technologies, new frequencies, etc., we're going to need your perspective into that. And so I wanted to just request that as you think about that report, that you include recommendations also on how to make that committee itself better prepared to help us with all of that. And thank you again.
Thank you for saying that, for your thoughts around that. I think like to your point, I mean, we are definitely super volunteers. And we are very passionate about it because, you know, the system means a lot to us, very much personally and beyond that. And so, you know, thinking about the resources that are necessary to support us as work is definitely an important thing to add to consider including in this report. I'm sure that my fellow Citizen Advisory Board members would agree. So thank you for adding that, and I'll be sure to include that in our future discussion.
Other comments or questions from other board members?
No question.
No question. Okay. Thank you all, and Happy New Year and stuff.
Thank you, Chairperson Raby.
We will now address board agenda item 7, board matters. Georgia, do we have any board matters today?
Mr. Chairman, there are no board matters for today.
Our next order of business is a report from the Committee on Finance, Audit, and Budget. Director Lee.
The committee met earlier this morning and approved the November 13, 2024 committee minutes and reviewed the finance report. The committee also reviewed 4 ordinances. Number 1, review of an ordinance authorizing a grant of a permanent non-exclusive easement to Dick Keefe Development Corporation for property located between Maple Avenue and Isabella Street, adjacent to the Purple Line in Wilmette, Illinois. Second, we reviewed an ordinance authorizing payment of relocation expenses arising from the acquisition of property located at 11810 South Calumet Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, the Red Line Extension Project. Third, we reviewed an ordinance authorizing a memorandum of understanding with the DePaul University Dryhouse College of Business for 2 pilot programs to support the Chicago Transit Authority's Disadvantaged Bus Enterprise Program and the Red Line Extension Transit Supportive Development Plan. And lastly, we reviewed an ordinance authorizing the purchase of an underground storage tank insurance policy year dating January 28th, 2025 through January 28th, 2026. The committee also reviewed 9 contracts and placed 4 ordinances and 9 contracts on the omnibus. The committee approved and recommended for board approval the 4 ordinances and 9 contracts. This concludes the report of the Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee.
Thank you, Director Lee. I will now entertain a motion to approve the omnibus.
Don't move.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Eady, seconded by Director Ja, that the omnibus be approved. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Eady?
Yes.
Director Lee?
Yes.
Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz?
Yes.
Director Raquejo?
Yes.
Director Ja? The motion passes.
Our next order of business is the construction report by Bill Mooney, our Chief Infrastructure Officer, and Juan Pablo Prieto, our Director of Diversity Program.
Good morning. Bill Mooney, your Chief Infrastructure Officer, and I'm joined by
Juan Pablo Prieto, Director of Diversity Programs.
You're here with your monthly construction report. We'll start where we normally do, our Canalberry Damon Substation Upgrade Project. Work continues at all 3 sites as we quickly move towards away from major infrastructure and into really the big electrical build outs and commissioning of those facilities. Here's some photos from that. This is Damon. So over the last couple of months, I've shown you the enclosure of the building being finished off. Here they've now started moving in all the traction power equipment and are starting to do the commissioning testing. This is a multi-month effort here in the commissioning process. It is a fail-safe system. It has lots of redundancies built into it, into a more global power network, as well as the facility itself. And so there's lots of aspects that go through in the qualifications of this equipment before it's put online. But if we're looking to see this come online very edge of this year, very beginning of next year. Here at Berry, they're finishing up kind of that infrastructure build, getting the building watertight. As they prep it to be able to start bringing in this equipment in the upcoming month. And then you'll see a similar process going on at Berry over the early part of 2025 as that facility comes online in the spring. Here's the exterior of the building. So right before the major weather came in, they got the street restoration done. You can see kind of the facade. This building does get a terracotta shade that goes around the glass enclosure there, which will be coming on in the spring as they're finishing up kind of that curtain wall work, but they are trying to get air, winter tight so they can start heating the facility, get all the flooring done and all those key aspects. And Haymarket, which is kind of the partner substation to Canal Breaker House, is actually commissioning all of its equipment. Here they're doing something called short circuit testing. So this actually validates that if we were to have an incident on the right of way that caused a ground fault, that the equipment fails in a safe manner. Pretty vigorous test where we actually served a bunch of power into the system to make it simulate that behavior. Ultimately, once they validate that, they can start doing the commissioning on the Canal Breaker House. So you'll see that coming on kind of in the early part of the year. This project looks to wrap up kind of in the spring. It's a significant investment in our infrastructure on the blue line. And as we are starting to see that service coming online, the need for this additional power is really important. On our Western Station project, most of the exterior work is wrapping up for the season as we are coming out kind of into these winter months. So I've shown you over the last couple of months, the painting on the platform level, that restoration of that ADA tactile edge, as well as other concrete repairs. Here you get kind of that pullback picture, gives you the big view. If you had ever experienced Western firsthand, painting was a pretty significant issue there. It was the big things the community, when we went out and talked about this project, saw as a value to the project. Here you can see that finishing kind of that tactile edge on the inbound, which last month we were just finishing up the process. And they also are doing finishing up some of the structural restoration on the outside. As we move towards those winter months, you'll start to see more of the activity inside the station house itself. And then in the spring, you'll start to see the bus turnaround work. Our Harlem Station bus bridge improvements. So we've got beams. Since last month when we showed them all coming down, we've started putting them all back. So over a series of overnight closures over I-90 here, we set a series of beams. It's something like 20 total. They were getting 3 or 4 of them a night. You can see that again, the size of the crane as they had to make these large reach for the set. So all the beams are actually in place. Here you can see a different view of that beam setting on the nightly basis. It was a pretty impressive operation. Again, we do a lot of structure work, but not often true bridges. So it's kind of an interesting project for us to take on. Here they're actually adding protective sheeting. So once those beams are in place, they actually cover them with wood deck underneath it so that they can work over actively on the highway and start pouring the concrete deck, which is the upcoming work. As they'll finish kind of all the tie-ins, they'll form in rebar, and then they'll pour weather permitting probably in the early part of next year. Kind of see that daylight picture of that whole set. Racine and Morgan continue to move along in a very quick pace. So here is Racine Station. This is looking north. You can see the elevated facade. The building is being weather tightened for the winter so that most of the work can work on the inside. All the grid system has been added to the exterior of the building. You'll start seeing the precast facade that goes up on this building. It's a white precast panel facade that's got some imprints in it to give it a texture. You can see that full water case stairwell over there as well, which we've shown kind of pieces of coming in. They're getting ready to set the stairs that go with that. Here is the opposite view. Again, you can see kind of all the architectural and features there. And then here's an interior view. So if you're looking kind of now from the main station entrance all the way to the back, that cinder block wall in the back is where the elevator tower comes in, and that will be where a new elevator comes in place. That waterfall stairwells kind of right to the screen there. Left of the screen is your back of the house stuff, storage facilities, washrooms, electric rooms, stuff like that. Your fair equipment kind of comes across from there, and then that art that was approved, it will be on kind of in the back right there. So those window slits and have the art kind of installed all along there. So. And then here is that platform level. So you can see that stairwell again, that as they're putting the roof on that, as well as all the installation of the numerous amounts of electrical conduits and lighting that are being installed and prepared there. And here is Morgan. So Morgan is a little bit behind on a little bit further behind Racine on the enclosure. It is quickly coming into weather tightening as well. So once they get the building kind of secured, then they'll start on the interior finishes and starting to bring in equipment, as you've seen at Calvary Damon. Looking is towards the end of the year, beginning of 2026. Racine is in spring of next year. We'll see that open and they'll switch to the Loomis side. Fresh and renew for the year is coming quickly to closure. You'll hear the final report next month. We are substantially complete. Last station is being wrapped up in early December, as well as the last bus turnaround. We'll highlight a couple of the recent stations. Paulina, before afters of the lighting upgrades, painting, touch up, clean, that real pop out coat of paint. Here it is, platform level brickwork. Davis Purple was interesting. So we actually had a raccoon problem. A series of raccoons kept breaking into the ceiling and causing damage to the ceiling tiles. We ended up having to completely remove the ceiling, find out where the intrusion was, secure the facility again from that, and then we refabricated a brand new ceiling there. So This took multiple months from it being removed to be able to do that kind of securing work and then actually to fabricate the new grid system. But it really is impressive. It was a really nice component. They did it as part of the general refresh of that station there. Here is Oakton on the yellow line. So you can see the before after. This is a customer assistance booth there. Here's the main walkway there. Again, kind of a big pop out with the lighting and painting upgrades. Here we are at a bus turnaround. So the exterior facing components for the experience the customer, that refresh painting, safety lines, things like that. And then on the interior side, our employee facing facilities at the site, new flooring, updated painting, and other. Moving on to RPM, we are active on both the Lawrence Broad Bryn Mawr stretch as well as the red purple bypass area. We're really getting ready for phase changes in the RPB area. As we move into next part of next year, you'll start to see a series of outages and reroutes and things like that as we start to get prepared to put that track that I've been showing you being built in service. As this comes quickly to conclusion. So here you can see the red purple bypass up here. They're installing a sound wall on it is 1 and 2 sides of those tracks there. Here you can see they're prepping steel work. This ultimately is up. You can see Addison Station in the background. This is actually part of the untangling of the reroutes we've had in place. So they're preparing the steel and ultimately you'll see them laying out the grid work of new ties as we start to undo the cut and throws we had in place to be able to put that structure, the new structure in service. Up here on the LBMM stretch, you're actually seeing Bryn Mawr Station. So Bryn Mawr, as they've been working north to south, is furthest along. It is fully enclosed at this point, and it is getting exterior and interior facades. So here you can actually see the terracotta wall panels being installed. It has its granite flooring in place. It's actually had the electrical lines livened up for one of the feeds there. So it's starting to get the electricity online. The elevators being installed, and they're starting to start building out the cabinets there and get that in service. So from there, you work further down. Berwyn's completely watertight. They're now working on the fireproofing and exterior there. And then you can see here at Argyle, they're finishing up the platform treatments there. So you can start doing all the detail work, get the canopies installed, get the electrical in place there. And at Lawrence, we finished our major milestone on the project. We're done building segments. So the last piece of the segments was installed. This is the last major structural component there. Next month, you'll see some photos of as they start the final last spans, actually a built in place steel span, because it's a very short span. But we said goodbye to the Windy City Gantry. So after multiple years of service, 2 rounds, it has done its job. It was decommissioned and was removed. So if you go up there, you don't see it there anymore. And we celebrated that. So on our outreach events, for some of you that were on the board at the time, the name Windy City Gantry was tied to Gowdy Elementary. So at the time, it was a 2nd grade class. We sponsored a Name the Gantry contest, and the Windy City Gantry was the winning name. The runner-up was a Roblox Gantry. For anyone that has young children can appreciate the power of that term. So, but Windy City was the name, and so we went back to the school at Gowdy Elementary, had a pizza party with them, brought down a replica decal that was on the side of it with that name on it. The entire team signed it, and they turned it over to the school as a memento of that occasion. They did a lot of Q&A. We've been involved with that school because it's right there directly adjacent to work we're doing, lots of input, lots of really insightful questions from the kids too. It was really interesting. One of the most interesting ones was, do you ever get a break, right? Because they see construction going on year round, right? Do you guys ever get to take vacations? I thought it was really interesting and insightful. I think my children would agree that no, you don't really get to take vacations, but it's a great experience. I think the project team really has enjoyed working with the school, and it's really a bonus we get, right? Being able to give back in that way. Lots of other activities going on. We have ongoing outreach with all the neighborhood organizations, the 44th, 46th, 48th aldermen, as well as the local chamber of commerce. We participated in the upcoming planning events for the Lunar New Year parade, which goes right through Argyle area there. And so we actually do a lot of work kind of to help our footprint and relationship with the parade and facilitate it as well as we participate in the parade. So with that, I'll turn it over to Juan Pablo.
Thanks, Bill. We give you your RPM updates and then also the activities for DBE and workforce outreach. As of the end of October, 121 unique DBE firms have been awarded over $289 million between the design and construction packages on RPM phase 1. 54 of those firms are new to CTA. And then DBs have been paid more than $188 million, which puts the prime contractor's attainment at 17.61%, on track to meet their 20% goal. On the workforce side, as of the end of October, we've had over 2,500 unique individuals that have worked over 2 million labor hours, and they've also earned over $124 million in wages. Walsh 4 is on track to meet those workforce goals. Slide, please. In November, we attended a number of events to inform small businesses and residents about the contracting and career opportunities on CTA projects. That includes attending the National Association of Minority Contractors membership meeting, Illinois Tollway government contracting event. We did a certification drive in the RLE footprint. We'll be doing several of those as we get businesses ready to bid on the packages that Walsh Vinci will put out. And we also continued our road shows. We did one with the Hispanic American Construction Industry Association, or HACIA. We did a series of these, what we shortlisted the firms for RLE, where we told firms to get ready, the work was coming, and we'd be back once we awarded the prime contract. So now we're coming back with the prime contractor, having them talk about their plan for DB participation and engage the community. And we also hosted a pre-apprentice fair at Daly College, where we had individuals come learn about different pre-apprenticeship programs and how to get into the building trades. So we hope to continue to engage with those individuals and help them either start or continue their career in the trades. That concludes our report. Happy to answer any questions.
Chairman?
Ms. Mooney, I noticed that you talked about getting the young kids involved in the art project. Maybe we could do the same thing on the south side for the RLE.
Oh, we've got a lot of really exciting plans around that as we start to get our footprint there. A few months back, we talked a little bit about Aldridge Elementary. We participated in kind of a planning study where the kids came out and talked about their vision for the gardens. And our investment there and what gets built around our investment supported there. And it was from the eyes of the kids and what they wanted to see, right? And so that was a really unique opportunity. We've been looking to get into some of those partnerships. And so we were really excited to have that opportunity to partner with that and use that as a stepping stone. We've had a series of them, and in the early part of next year, you'll start seeing our RLE stuff on the board agenda. We're looking at like February, having enough sustained activity in the advanced packages. And you'll see some of these things we're talking about there. We've got a partnership where we went into classrooms with a lot of our STEM folks from the construction and engineering side, that they came into a series of classrooms in the footprint. We were partnered with 2 or 3 schools there where we got sessions. We went in and talked a little bit about the work we do, what's available in the industry. Our team, we probably had 20 or so from both our contractor support, our professional service side, to our dedicated staff itself being able to do those things. So we really cherish those opportunities. It's great to help them understand the value of the impact, but it's also, to me, the best recruiting opportunity. It's a really challenging field to get into, but it's a really rewarding field, and helping kids understand that path and being able to support them there. So
yeah, I'm fascinated by some of this. Had I had that exposure, I would not have wasted 40 years. That's for me and my psychiatrist. Thank you.
Other questions from members of the board, comments?
The RPM, I appreciate the effort to engage, interact with the business. Because these projects can be disruptive for small business. Any high level observations, feedback that the business community of those scared are more minimize, I guess, the disruptions into their business?
So I would say high level, one of the unique aspects of our activity on RPM, we broke ground in the pandemic, right? And so our Open for Business campaign really took a very different task ultimately, because the businesses we were trying to support during construction were devastated by the impacts of the pandemic, and our outreach really became as much about their survival through the pandemic as it was about our impacts on them. And so I think we've got a very cherished partnership. We did a series that you can see on our YouTube channel where we went out and actually interviewed local businesses as part of our Open, and we brought in someone to it was almost something you'd see on like Guy Fieri, diners, drive-ins, and dives, right? But we went through and they went through the experiences what the business offered and stuff. We did a little mini series on that. And I think that gave them exposure that they never expected to gain benefit of. And while they were challenged by the construction, I think one of the things I would truly compliment the contractor on is how thoughtful you can't appreciate what they're building and the footprint they're building till you walk out there and realize that they are surrounded entirely by active alleys and active streets. And there are closures that come here and there, but it's not like we riddled the neighborhood and shutdowns. There was very strong constrictions into what they could do when they do it, and they worked very thoughtfully around there and partnered around that. They have been really huge proponents of supporting the local businesses. So when they do support team events and things like that, they are buying local, they are supporting local. And I think the community feels that. I think there's some that, would love us to do more. I don't think you ever have anybody that says we've done enough, but I think there's a lot of folks that would tell you that they've been really impressed by the level. If anything, we probably over-engage at times, which is, I think, is the side that we all would want to see us on, right? So.
Thank you. And what is the next station that will be open?
They all open together. So you'll see Bryn Mawr, Berwyn, Argyle, and Lawrence all open together. Lawrence is west, so again, it's north to south. So Lawrence, you'll see in photos lags construction-wise to what you see at Bryn Mawr, but it actually accelerates on the schedule. So, and part of it was they built their model around learning what works with doesn't, right? Means and methods through Bryn Mawr, and then they amplify those in gains there. So
the opening will take place simultaneously.
We'll be simultaneously with the cutover of the new structure up there as well. So we'll be commissioning the new signal system. You have to swing the tracks back open at the same time to be able to facilitate those platforms. So all that happens kind of, in the middle of next year, you'll see kind of a big kind of finish of this. So,
yeah, thanks.
Other comments, questions?
I appreciate the engagement with communities at these construction sites. I'm sure it's, really impactful in so many different ways. So thank you for that, both on businesses and on schools and students.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the percentages and the number of DBE firms that were engaged, the new ones and all, and the amount of dollars that are being channeled through those organizations is very important. And I'm certain that it is the objective to be as ambitious as you were here with the red line. Yeah.
We're implementing the same outreach strategy that we use in RPM. So at the end, we still haven't, knock on wood, haven't had anyone say, I didn't know how to get involved in RPM. To Bill's point, we probably over-engaged the community, which is where we want to be, that everyone knows how to get involved, we're interested in participating on the project.
Right. And I certainly would want to offer some recommendations in terms of how that information gets out to the various organizations and certainly other eligible DBE firms. So I'd certainly like to participate.
Perfect. I think we welcome it always, right? So,
And Warren has availed himself already for some of that. So I want to make sure we connect.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our final order of business today is new business. Is there any new business?
Mr. Chairman, there's no new business.
Since there is no further business to come before the board, I have a motion to adjourn the Chicago Transit Board meeting, December 11th, 2024.
So moved.
It's been moved by Director Edie, seconded by Director Ja, that the meeting be adjourned. We'll take a roll call vote. Director Edie?
Yes.
Director Lee? Yes. Chairman Barclay?
Yes.
Director Ortiz? Yes. Director Requejo? Yes. Director Ja? Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Have a safe holiday.